I believe happened during the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight. But I've decided I'm going to do it because I think everybody's talking about different theories anyway, so I thought I'd just give my version of what I believe happened. Tyson Fury was wearing a glove similar to this Everlast MX glove, which is a very soft glove. Now, people have come up with theories that he removed padding from the glove, which isn't the case because there's no way you could get that past an inspector. They'd pick that up before pre-fight. The other thing that people are saying, again, would be, one, it would be nearly impossible to do, and two, it would be very uncomfortable and there's more chance of breaking your hand, which is that he had his fist inside the glove, like so. So he's making a fist here. Again, I don't believe this is the case. It would be impossible to get your hand, because when the inspector would check, he would notice, and then you would have to make the fist and then somehow get it back to here. What I believe Tyson Fury did, and I do believe he was cheating, what I believe Tyson Fury did was bring his hand far enough down so that he could open his hand. Obviously, the shape of the glove holds your fingers like this, whereas if you can bring your hand down, you can get your hand straight. It's at this point now. If you've done martial arts, you'll know what a palm heel strike is. It's hitting somebody with this part of the glove, with this part of the hand, sorry. So what Tyson Fury does, and you can see it clear as day, especially when he knocked Wilder out in the second fight, is he's missing the shot, accidentally missing the shot. Once he's got his hand down to here, and he's hitting him with the heel of his palm, which is, it's literally worse than a bare knuckle punch. It's really a dangerous thing to do. And you see that he catches him behind the glove. He throws an overhand right as Wilder's down, and you see the weight of his heel, the heel of his palm, bang into Wilder's head, and he's hit him over and over again. If you watch the video back, you'll see that he does it over and over again. So what he does, and the way that he does it, the way he gets his hand from here into a position to do that, if you watch during the fight, Tyson Fury is constantly, it appears to be pulling his shorts up, but I don't believe he's pulling his shorts up at all. What I believe he's doing is pulling his hand down in the glove. You watch Tyson Fury, he's constantly playing with his shorts, and it's at that point when you see his hand has been down here where he can now straighten his fingers. My fingers are fully straight in there. He then starts throwing them shots like that, which is why occasionally, once it's there, when you see him do that, you'll see the glove bending, because the tip of the glove's got nothing in. My fingers are perfectly straight. So I believe Tyson Fury is hitting people with the palm of his hand or with the heel of his palm, as opposed to doing that with a bent glove or removing his horsehead. But I do believe that Tyson Fury is cheating in the fight, in a lot of his fights.
What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. So we just heard there from your man's Insider Donny, yeah? It's one of my main CIs right now. So obviously, my CI this morning reached out to me. Confidential informant Donny reached out to me and sent me through this video. Still, we know that Fury and Wilder are fighting tomorrow. I meant to do this earlier in the week, but like I said, I was waiting for the plug to come through with the exclusive. This right here is leaked. Ain't no one seen this yet. 100% confirmed. So you saw the video there, and it's undoubtable what my man is saying is correct. Simple as that. Yeah, Fury, scary. He using his palm. However, I've got a bit of a controversial opinion on this, because you heard the man there. He's basically saying, "Oh, it's extremely dangerous." Me personally, I don't care less. Why? If it was MMA, it'd be legal, wouldn't it? Yeah? I don't see what the big problem is. End of the day, what's the difference? Whether you use your palm or your knuckles. Me personally, yeah, I don't know about you, man, but whenever I box, I want to make sure my hand's fully in the glove. I like to dig my knuckles in. Fury, he likes to slap. Now, if he wants to use the palm of his hand and he thinks that's more powerful than digging his knuckles in, so be it. For me, as long as you got your gloves on, as long as there's nothing in the gloves, who cares? Yeah? If you think your palm's really that powerful, which my man's a legend it is, I can't see it myself. If I hit you with my palm, I just don't get how that's more damaging than digging knuckles in. I mean, look at Mike Tyson. The best people I know who are most renowned for digging knuckles, Mike Tyson, Alvarez, they dig. Yeah? Fury, he push. And I can't believe that pushing is more powerful than digging, myself, personally. I don't get it. Yeah? I can't work out what makes it so dangerous. And if it was that dangerous, why in the UFC isn't everyone doing it? If that makes sense. If it's that great, if it's that sharp and powerful and dangerous and lethal, this for me almost feels like one of them ones where, you know, back 30 years ago, before the UFC came around, there used to be, maybe even today to be fair, but back, especially 30 years ago, or even when I was growing up, my point is, before the UFC got popular, there was loads of these little folklores. There was loads of these little rumours. Oh yeah, there's some certain dons from Japan. They live in the mountains and they're just sick at fighting. They know all these secret things and that. Yeah? Obviously, tutus, we now know that them dons can't fight a lick. Because they get put in the UFC thing, they get tore up. So, my point is, this for me feels like another one of them. This don here, not being horrible, but listen, I haven't boxed, but I'm saying, he sounded to me like he one of them ones. He'd been watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos. Oh yeah, that's a secret thing. If it's that secret, yeah, again, why aren't no UFC dons doing it? Licking man with open palm. If it's that lethal, oh, it's banned and it's banned in 16 countries. It's this special move. Yeah? Too many special move dons. Too many dons, yeah, say playing Xbox and PlayStation, you think, oh, it's secret super duper move. Yeah? Oh, the palm, no, the palm's super duper secret. And I can't work out. End of the day, yeah, in my mind, whatever you throw, you're only throwing with your own body, aren't you? So, if you can throw an elbow, UFC dons use elbows. You can't tell me this palm thing is that. I don't get it. It's still only, the power is still only coming from your own body weight, isn't it? So whether you hit someone with your knuckle or your palm or your elbow, what's the difference here? I can't understand what the big song and dance is myself. Now, don't get me wrong. The reason I'm doing this video is to say that there is no doubt this is what Fury's doing. It's been proven now. Yeah? Who was it? It may have been, I'm not sure who it was, but someone was saying, oh, I need to see proof. Well, here's the proof. It's undoubtable. And anyone who's boxed knows that you know when you try and hit someone, what you're hitting them with. And again, there's no doubt in my mind, Fury is actively not trying to hit his opponent with his knuckle. It's clear. Don't get me wrong. There are occasions in a fight when you throw a shot and it ends up hitting someone in the wrong place. That's not the same as what we're seeing here. This wasn't a case of Fury tried to hit someone and it ended kind of off angle. This was clearly Fury was pushing. He's renowned for doing that. Clearly Fury was pushing, trying to drive his palm into Wilder's Clark for him. Now, I'm sure there'll be boxing experts out there who say, oh, this is a legal move and rah, rah, rah. Me personally, I believe whatever you can do with gloves on your hands, so be it. End of the day, if your defense was tight, you know what I'm saying? End of the day, yeah, if your defense is tight, it doesn't matter what they're doing, does it? That's what I think. If your defense is tight, at the end of the day, he's still a man with gloves on. So whether he's trying to hit you with his knuckle or his palm, if my elbows are in and my chin's down, I'm not saying that's foolproof. I'm saying that, what's the difference? Yeah? My chin down, my elbows are in. So whether you throw your knuckles at me or your palm, you're bouncing off and I'm marching forward. Chuck Norris style. No doubt. But like I said, this for me is more to do with the fact that there is no doubt, people. Some people will call this cheating. I mean, again, I can see both sides. I can see how not having your glove into the hand, I guess that is the element they're talking about. What this man's saying is that it's cheating because part of boxing is the 10-ounce gloves. So what Fury is negating here, or the loophole that Fury has found, is that we know, for example, in the UFC, they use 4-ounce gloves. And we now know, after years of UFC, that 4-ounce gloves are much more explosive for KOs. Which means that if you can hit a man with 0-ounce gloves, which is what's happening here, because Fury is essentially connecting with his bare palm. Yeah? Or maybe there's half an ounce of weight, or sorry, half an ounce of leather in the arm, in the wrist part, if that makes sense. So Fury's landing and connecting with half an ounce of protection, rather than the full 10 ounces, which would be on the knuckle. So that's the loophole here. But again, like I said, if your defense is tight, then that half an ounce is just going to be bouncing off your guard. And besides, I mean, it's all well and good getting these shots off, but what happens? And arguably, what happens if you're in trouble and you need to defend, and your hands are in the wrist part? But it does make sense why Fury often you see his hands are bubbling all over the place, bubble hands. He's flicking at that back flicky jab he does, and his hands bobbling. There's videos, of Fury's gloves literally bobbling like them Churchill dogs in the back of cars, where the heads is bobbling all over the place. There's videos of that happening, so clearly his hand is in his wrist. But I'm not sure how effective is that. So yeah, it's all well and good when you land the straight right hand and it ends up clobbing him with your palm. That's all well and good, but what happens in other circumstances? And that's why I believe what happened was when Fury knew he was dominating so handedly, that's when he really brought them down. This for me is almost like a defensive. This for me, for Fury, it was almost like an offensive mode. When he knows he's got you rocked, that's when he pulls the gloves down and just goes hell for leather kind of thing. I can't believe he's going to go into the round one of a fight and be like this, because how can you defend yourself properly when you got bobble hands? Because think about it, if you put your hands up and you got them and you got your hands in the wrist, and someone throws a shot, there's going to be nothing in your gloves, so the shot's going to go straight through your guard and clock you in the face. And also, it does beg the question that if he did have his hands in the palm, if he did have his hands in the wrist part, how is he able to put them back in? Because once you can't be going in and out, and that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, I believe he starts the fight with his hands in, then when he realizes his opponent's shot, he then pulls them down, kind of thing. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. And that also does add up, because we've seen video of Fury throwing a hook here, and his hand is 90 degrees bent. Now, you can't bend your hand. Well, it's not 90 degrees, it's more than 90 degrees. The glove, bear in mind, gloves bend the other way. Yeah? Gloves bend, what's the way? Gloves bend to the right, is it? Well, I'm not sure which way they bend, but my point is, the way that gloves are built to bend, Fury's hand was flopped the other way. 90 degrees the wrong way. Naturally, gloves have almost like I'm not sure what degree it would be, but maybe 45-degree angle. They slant, which is supposed to get your hand in a punching position. Well, Fury's gloves was flopping the other way, which, again, that highlights the fact that likely his hands were in the thing, which means his gloves were flopping all over the place. I mean, it might be funny. I've even tried to do it with no hands in the gloves and just flopping them, and even that's hard. But I guess it was to do with the fact that there was a lot of sweat in there, because when gloves are full of sweat, they become a lot more loosey-goosey, a lot more stretched out, especially when you've been hitting hard for a few rounds. Anyway, I'll be intrigued to see what you man think. The reason I'm putting this out there is to say that, and just in case any Wilder Goofy out there, anyone from Wilder's team, and any Wilder Goofy, I want everyone to understand, all this information, has been out there now. Why that's relevant? Come Sunday morning, I don't want to hear none of it. Because even if there is video of ish happening, guess what? It will have been on Wilder and his team to get it right, essentially. Because what we're not going to do is come Sunday, oh man, he did it. Because no, you've had your chance. And what frustrates me even more is the fact that Fury's come out and said that Team Wilder haven't taken any more precautions. They haven't asked for anything, if that makes sense. I'm like, thought you man was doing all this, doing all that. And Fury tells us they haven't taken no actions. Which again tells me that Wilder is deceitful. He's crying about all these things, but he's taken no extra steps or no extra actions to change things. Oops. But I know what's coming. Fury pushes Wilder's wig back, and then all of a sudden, they're going to hear about all the different ones again. But for me, I'm not going there again. Yeah? If you don't want to get punked by Fury and his palm punching, you best sort it out. And what gets me even more is, how did Wilder not feel that? I don't know about you, man, but I'd know if someone was trying to palm me or not. You'd just feel it, wouldn't you? You'd feel, wait a minute, that feels a bit, don't feel right. Especially when you've been doing this for years and you know what, I don't know, maybe Wilder's the super low IQ, which is highly likely a possibility. Wilder has super duper low IQ. Yeah? He just don't know what he's doing. Don't know what's going on. But anyway, I'm looking forward to the fight. I do have to say, I think I mentioned in my last video, I've got an eerie feeling about this fight. I mean, when you look at the heavyweight division, what would make sense now would be for Fury to lose. Just to show that boxing's a complete joke. Yeah, that's why I'm feeling funny about this fight. So it's almost written down that, yep, Fury goes in there, gets whooped in it. This shows it's one big free-for-all. And anything can literally happen. And that's why, I don't know. But then again, I look at Wilder, and he's sloppy. And he ain't made no changes. And he's got Malik Scott, who's just the biggest goofy, the biggest stroker-offer in history. He just stays stroking Wilder off. Stay cheerleading. And you know it's bad when a man... Wilder is like AJ. Wilder needed systemic change to his training. Instead, he brought in a number one cheerleader. I'm not sure what's worse. AJ keeping the same crap team, or Wilder bringing in a number one shield on. Both of them shocking. Both of them, yeah. In 10 or 15, 20 years from now, Wilder and AJ career case studies will be examples of systemic failure. Yeah, I've told you before, Rob McCracken needs to be up in The Hague. Yeah, crimes against boxing. No doubt.